Hi guys, Sarah here, and today I'm going to show you how to make a YouTube channel banner like this. But you know, not actually this one. So I'm going to use Adobe Photoshop because, well, I love Photoshop. To begin, we're going to start a new document using the YouTube guidelines for creating a banner, making a file that is 2560 pixels. Whoop, not picas, pixels. 2560 by 1440, and that's going to be at 72 dpi and RGB, and create. The image you ultimately create will show up differently on computer screens, phones, tablets, and TVs, so it's important to make something that will work on absolutely everything. So this whole area will only show up on a TV, but on a computer screen you're only going to see the middle section here. And that depends on your browser width, and mobile devices will only show a small area right in the center. So to make sure our design works, the first thing we need to do is make some guides. So I'll mark the center of the document first, both the horizontal and the vertical center. There we go, and Photoshop should snap right to that, and you can double check to make sure you're actually at the center just by quickly making some comparison. There we go. Yeah, so our lines are perfectly centered. Now this is pretty much a good idea to do no matter what document you're working on, just to always make your center lines right off the bat. Next, we're going to make our designated safe area for YouTube, which will be the area that shows up on everything, and thus is where we want all the super important stuff to go. So this area is 1546 pixels by 423 pixels. I'm just using a rectangle to do that, and I'll just perfectly center it, and it snapped nicely right there in the center. All right, now once that's good, I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to lengthen it like so, just to show the full width of the area that will show up on YouTube depending on your browser width. I'm also going to make it a different color after rasterizing it, just so I have a bit of differentiation between the two. Make it a bit lighter. There we go. All right, there we go. So now we can, from that, make our awesome guides. Like so. Ta-da! Now I'm going to also make a top and bottom border as well as two side borders so that we can isolate our design whenever we need to. Now that will give us the best idea of what the final design will actually look like when it's up and running. So I'm just going to fill the top and bottom area with the main foreground or background color here. And then I'll do the same with the sides. All done. And now, for the sake of organization, I'm going to put all of those guide layers into one single folder. Okay, that layer is nothing. Oops, missed one. And I'm going to call it Guides. So creative. All right, now we can actually start on the fun part. Finally. So I'm just going to fix the layers again, just organize them a bit better. So we've got our guides in one and our art group in another one. We're going to call that art because that's what we're doing here. All right, we're going to hide some of the guides. We don't really need any of these on right now. And we'll start with our image. Now this is an image from pexels.com, so it's a stock image. And I'm going to use that as the main background image. So for YouTube channel banners, I usually like starting with one big image as the background for the entire design, and then going from there, editing it, adding different layers, but using that one main image as kind of the main starting point. Now sometimes this requires a bit of filling in, so a pretty simple image like this works really well, or at least one where you can use content aware. But now for this image, I don't have to fill anything in, fortunately, but to give it a bit more impact, I'm going to play around with the camera raw filter, which honestly I love because it's great. So let's go and see. We're gonna adjust the clarity a bit, bring it up. Not super sure what we're gonna be doing here, but I usually want to have a background image that has a bit of drama. So why not? I'm gonna boost the contrast. All right, let's go with that. Nice. All right, and I'm gonna mix this image with another one from pexels.com for an attempt at a super cool effect, whatever that may be. All right, let's bring that up a little bit. I don't think we need it quite that high. I kind of like the little light there, so we're gonna use the light like that. Now, because I want the light there and not impeding over wherever I'm gonna have text, I'm gonna kind of keep it there, and then unfortunately that means I'm gonna have to fill in this whole area here. And we're going to do that with content aware, which may or may not work. Let's see what happens. Well, it kind of worked. Let's take off the guides here. Some of the bricks over here are clearly a little bit longer than they should be. So I think we're gonna go in and, where is my clone tool? Clone, stamp away. All right, we'll just take a sample from here, because it looks like the color is generally the same. So maybe we'll go here. And just try to fix some of the brick sizes, so they make a little bit more sense. All right, that's not bad. All right, we have one giant brick here. Oh, there we go. The giant brick has been broken. Awesome. Now we just got a bit of trouble down there that we can hopefully fix. Ooh. All right, yeah, that'll do. So I'm gonna use some blend modes to see what I can do with this. So, oh, I like that. Let's use lighten and maybe a slightly lower opacity, like 70. That's not bad. It's kind of mystical. I like that. Now I'm also going to create some darkening at the top and the bottom. Turn my guides back on, just so we can actually put text on this. That seems a bit light. Let's use black. Black and black. Nice. All right, so that looks pretty cool already. But I'm going to use more. Oh, yeah, that's nice. I like that. All right, so I'm going to try that with the sides as well on a new layer. Same exact thing, just on the sides. Oh, that's very dramatic. But maybe let's make it less dramatic. Overlay and maybe 70, 80. Yeah, I like that. See, that's cool looking. I like that. So a basic channel banner will have the background image or pattern, the channel logo or name, and maybe some other info like upload schedule, tagline, social media, or a brief description of what the channel is about. But here, I'm going to keep things super, super basic. So I'm going to put text right in the middle here. And I'm going to call it my awesome channel, because that's what it is. Awesome. Now I think white font would probably show up a little bit better on this. So I'll switch to white. Yeah, that works. And I'm going to put my above awesome channel and make it just a bit teenier. Like 60. There we go. And make sure it's actually centered. Nice. All right, now I'm going to play around with the text area just to see if I can make things a bit more interesting. So I'm going to make a square shape here using the rectangle tool. And I'm going to give it no fill and a white stroke. And maybe like a 5. 5-point stroke. That kind of works. Maybe a bit thicker, actually. Maybe 6 or 7. All right, 7 will do. And we're gonna make it a diamond. And center it perfectly. Perfect. Now I kind of want the text here to go through this. So I'm gonna take the rectangle and rasterize it so I can edit it. And then I'm going to cut it in half, like so. Yeah, I hope that's even. There we go. Now the text goes right through it. Maybe make it a bit tinier though, because it's kind of giant at the moment. Oops. There we go. Right like that. Whoops, not delete. I want to duplicate that layer. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Do something like that. Or something like that. See, that looks pretty cool. Okay, let's center that perfectly. All right, take off the guide so we see what it actually looks like. My awesome channel. I think I still want that to be a bit thicker though. So I'm gonna merge those layers like a crazy person and then give them a stroke. But not the bad kind of stroke, you know, the good kind of stroke. That's too much stroke. That's maybe 1 will do. All right. See, that kind of works. Now I'm going to test it out against my guides, my top and bottom, and see how that all works. Let's get rid of the properties there. And maybe I want to make it a bit tinier. Yes, I do. I'll make it like that. But I think I'm going to slice the middle again just to give it a bit more room for the text. There we go. That works better. And then let's make it tinier again. All right. How does that work? There we go. I want to make sure it's perfectly centered vertically and horizontally. All right. Now I think I'm going to make the text just a bit closer together because it seems kind of far apart. So maybe we'll go with a 70. Nope, nope, that's too much. 80 it is. Yes. There we go. And because I've got some more room for, well, a little bit more text, I've decided this is a vlogging channel, or vlogging channel. Why can't I get my caps? Vlogs. And what size font is my? We'll make that the same. Nope, we will make it smaller. Too small. No. We need to make that a bit closer. See, that works. Kind of. Okay, nope, this needs to be smaller again. Yep. Yeah, I think that works. And then we gotta center it. So it is perfect. That's pretty much perfect. Now is the time where I can go back and revise anything because I think I'm otherwise pretty much done. Now, because I'm using a white text, which I think works, but this kind of smoky effect is just a little teeny bit too bright. So I want to bring back some of the drama. See, that looks good too without the brick, but I like the brick. So maybe I'll make this a bit darker. That's not doing much. Not for the text anyway. So what I could do is maybe I'll make the original mystical image a little bit darker. More shadows. More blacks. Maybe more blacks. Yeah, that adds a bit more drama. Okay, I like that. It's a bit more contrast with the text on the background. Cool. So it's important to note that on some mobile devices, your profile pic will actually show up overlapping the channel banner, and that'll be somewhere around here in a little circle. So just avoid putting anything super important around this kind of whole area here. And again, you can look at that with the guides. And this is what will essentially show on a mobile device, or this. And the profile pic would be somewhere down here. So at this stage, you can just go back and make sure that everything is perfect, that all your information is within this sort of limit here. And you check with this. So this is your area that will show up on everywhere. Basically, this is the perfect safe area. So everything that's essential needs to go in here. And non-essential can go outside of here, which would be mostly imagery, ideally not text. You also don't want your text getting cut off, halfway. Wouldn't look good. Now, right before I decide to be all done, I'm going to just change this. The spacing between my and vlogs is it's not quite consistent, so I'm going to give that a bit more space there, just because I really like everything to be perfectly aligned. See, that looks pretty consistent. There we go, and we're all done. So next, you want to save your file as a PNG or JPEG and make sure that it's under 6 megabytes or YouTube will not accept it. Fortunately, 6 megabytes should be enough for even complicated imagery. If your file ends up being more than 6 megabytes, you can reduce the complexity of the image by adding a solid color to the top and the bottom, or a gradient. Either would work. They would just help to reduce the amount of complexity and information in the image and make the file a little bit smaller. And since the top and the bottom border will only be seen on a TV screen, you don't need to worry too much about how that looks, although I would still use colors that actually work with your design. So I'll post a link to the YouTube channel art guidelines in the description below, as well as links to the images I used, as well as the font. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and good luck creating your YouTube channel banner. Bye guys.